Hi guys, welcome to another movie crew review. Today we'll be reviewing Fantastic Four First Steps.
The movie stars Pedro, Pascal, Vanessa, Kirby, and Joseph Quinn.
So, taking place in this future realistic and retro 1960s type of world, Earth 828, we find ourselves following these intrepid Fantastic Four explorers as they're taking on the harrowing task of trying to defeat Galactus. So today I'm going to start us off, and first of all, this is the awesome Galactus popcorn bucket. It's massive. I love it. Best thing, I got it for free, so even better. So yeah, going into the film, I think that I really could have watched probably 2 more hours of it. I really love the world of this Earth 828. I think that the characters themselves, Pedro Pascal, does a really good job as Richard Reed's probably one of my favorite characters for the Fantastic Four in terms of just the whole storyline. He's such a cool guy, the intellectual of the group, and I really like Pedro Pascal as an actor in terms of the roles that he plays, so I think that it worked really well for me. Vanessa Kirby, been watching her since The Crown, so I really enjoy her work, and I think she was a great Sue Storm. Going on to Johnny and Ben, I think their dynamic was good. It wasn't like the 2000s Fantastic Four where it was like their adversaries. They seem to work together a bit more, and that's quite nice. The world building, I really enjoyed. I really think that the cartoonish aspect of this film plays to it, and it really feels like a comic book come to life. I really like how they've set it in this kind of 60s but future realistic world. It kind of helps suspend some disbelief, but also it looks really nice. It's hard to explain, but I really like that kind of look, the way that things looked in the 60s and, TV screens, grey cathode tube, stuff like that. Even the space suits, the way the spaceship is designed in this film, the Fantastic Car, they're just beautifully designed. The sets are amazing. They look so beautiful, and I'd love to live in that world. It's like the world of Fallout. It's just such a nice looking color palette for a film, nice designs. Probably my favorite in terms of sets for like any of the MCU films at this point. That's how highly I rate it. In terms of the storyline, it's a basic storyline. Pretty much the trailers give it to you. Galactus is coming and they're trying to save Earth. What isn't as featured as much is the storyline of Franklin, the son of the Fantastic Four. So Richard and Sue have their child through in the first act of the film, and that's kind of what Galactus is after for the majority of the film. So you get to see the thinking processes throughout that. We get like a snapshot of the first 4 years of the Fantastic Four at the very start, and that's where you see most of the action, the fighting, things like that. So overall, I think that it's done well. What I would have liked to see in this film probably more is the acting, is the actual fighting side of it, using their powers a bit more. You get to see it at the end, you see it a bit throughout the film, but other than that start montage, there's not a lot of actual like big fights or things where they're trying to go up against something. So I personally would have liked to see a bit more of the powers being used, but the only other gripe I had was it's probably more for practicality, is baby Franklin didn't look the best in this film. And there are some scenes where it's like it looks really bad. There are some scenes where it's not that noticeable, but there's a scene, especially at the end, where like Richard Reed is holding the baby, and it kind of just looks like it's floating there in his hands. It just, it was one of these things where like we got so close to the end of the film, and then that happened, and I was like, damn it. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. I think it was a great entry. And lastly, I liked the soundtrack in terms of the choral kind of singing and the kind of music. I really did think that gave a lot of impact to scenes, like especially when they launched the shuttle. That was just great to have. So yeah. Moo?
Alright, so I think it's the best Fantastic Four movie, and the bar is not very high over there. So I really enjoyed this movie. Like John said, the color palette, the like it's futuristic, but it's retro-futuristic. I really love that aspect of the movie. Um, I think the best part, like the best bit is they're like a family. They are, and the family dynamic. I love that. Like they sort of like rely on each other, and especially Reed Richards and Sue Storm. Like their chemistry was very well done, and overall, like really love this movie. But I have few gripes with this movie. I'm not a fan of cosmic villains, and here Galactus, like I know he's such a famous villain, but I just didn't, he didn't do it for me. He's sitting there somewhere and he's, trying to destroy planets, and that's his shtick, I guess. Um, at the end, like when he's on Earth and he does like couple of things, that was menacing, that was cool. One scene is really fun. I enjoyed that. But yeah, I'm not a fan of cosmic villains. And second gripe is like John said, action. There was barely any action. I think most of the action was from Johnny Storm, like because he can light up, and so, but like at the end there was bit of it, but yeah, it was too late for like an actual action scene. But overall, like really enjoyed the movie. John pointed out this scene. I don't know, like it's such an important moment with the baby at the end. Like, why would you have that moment there? Like, if you like make it look good at least. I don't know, but it's a good movie. Cameron?
Yeah, for me, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I think it did everything well. Like Moon said, the family aspect is the most important aspect for me with Fantastic Four, and they did that so great. The chemistry between the four of them just made me feel like I was part of the family too. It was just so happy, in the dynamic, like John said, with Johnny Storm and the Thing. In the other films, they're a bit more argy-bargy, but this one is more like banter between the two, but they're still loving. So I really enjoyed that. And Sue Storm and Reed Richards, I think they were done perfectly. I mean, their portrayal was amazing. I think leaving Reed Richards just being the brainiac really was just great. And Sue Storm, she was really strong in few scenes in this movie, which I think did wonders to the character. I think she just stood tall and really put her feet down and held her own in the Fantastic Four. But for me, I didn't mind the aspect of it being not really action packed. I didn't really think about it until you boys have mentioned it really. I think it flowed so well in the movie. I was just so captivated in this world that I sort of not forgot that they were superheroes, but I didn't need the constant reminder that they are the protectors, they are the superheroes, because there's going to be some downtime in a superhero's portrayal. So I didn't mind it, and yeah, for me it just flowed so well. Like that 2 hours just went by so fast, and that end scene really made me feel things I haven't felt since Endgame. Really, I think it really pulls at the heartstrings and with my emotions, which I thought was done really well, considering this is the first time we're meeting these characters in this world. So I thought that was just done perfectly. But like you said, just when it happened with the baby being passed over, was like, yeah, it didn't pull me out of it, but I can see where you guys are coming from. It did look very, very cheap, and it's just like, it is a very important scene. But for me, I was just already emotionally invested in it, so it didn't really bother me. But yeah, as opposed to Moon, I really enjoyed Galactus in this movie. I thought they did, and even Silver Surfer, you boys haven't really touched on her, but I think they did her very simply, and I think it does enough to warrant her being part of the movie with Galactus. They didn't really focus too much on Silver Surfer and Galactus in this movie, but at the same token, they do. It's a bit much. They don't have much screen time, is what I'm trying to say, as opposed to Fantastic Four. Yeah. But they do, every time they're on screen, either Silver Surfer or Galactus, it's like, you know, sort of what you're in for. But yeah, I think they did Silver Surfer really well. I thought she looked pretty good. I do like the original Silver Surfer and being a bit more shiny, but this sort of looked a bit more, realistic in metallic, rather than cosmic metallic as the other one, as the original Silver Surfer looked. But I thought she did a good job, and just it wasn't rushed, but it was very simplified and everything made total sense. Like, you can get lost in sort of why Silver Surfer's doing what she's doing and why Galactus is Galactus, but I thought they explained it so well. There was no filler in this movie. It just seemed to go bang, 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 and I really loved it.
Yeah, I did like the Silver Surfer being like the shiny silver color compared to this one, but I don't think it affects the film.
No, yeah.
But I liked the one character I wasn't expecting in this film, and we got was Mole Man. I was looking forward to John Malkovich, because any film that John Malkovich is going to be at least have him to be the funny part.
Yeah.
We didn't get him, sadly, but Mole Man was actually a lot bigger than I thought in terms of a part. I thought it was going to be another throwaway character at the start, you know, when they started going through all the villains. But yeah, actually quite a crucial character, and I think he really captures like the comedy. Probably for me, some of the funniest bits were with him and like interacting with the team. There's all four of them trying to interact, and he kind of like steals the show in that scene. Even like they're all coming off the bus, and he's like, "Wipe your feet," but the floor's all dirt anyway. It's just I really enjoyed him, and the little Herbie robot is just cool. I wish I could buy one of those Herbie robots. Just so cool, little side character that we never got before. So yeah,
I actually really enjoyed Silver Surfer. I think because like when she comes to like Earth, and like she's very menacing, but she got a backstory to it, like why she's doing that. So I appreciate that. I didn't touch on one thing. I think you pointed out already that Galactus is coming after the kid. So I would have loved it if like other humans, they're trying to do something to give kid to Galactus. So they sort of raise the bar, like make it harder for them. But she gives a nice speech and everything is all good. I would have loved it before that, before the speech, if they like, you know, there's sort of chaos everywhere. Like people are trying to steal the baby.
well, you kind of see a little bit of the writing, but at the same time, I think if you start to do stuff like that, you might overcomplicate it, and then it may run into something that
No,
starts
for
to
me
become-
that, because it's such an important, the kid is such an important
Yeah.
thing. So I would have loved it, but yeah.
Yeah, well, then their reaction would probably seem like for the point of just trying not to have this action happen, as opposed to trying to save the Earth for the kid, which is the whole point of her speech. But she honestly seems like the most emotionally, like Richard Reeves is intellectually intelligent.
Yeah.
She's
And
the
she's the emotional
emotionally
part, yeah.
intelligent person of the team, and that's why you see, even though he's so smart, she's the one that's really front facing. Like you see her at all the press conferences and things like that, talking and, you know, relating with all the different like politics and things like that. So it's a credit for how they've written her character as well.
Yeah, I think another thing they did perfectly was it did not feel like a typical Marvel Studios world. It really felt like its own thing until the post credit scene, but it did really stand on its own feet, and I found that totally refreshing. Like I wasn't thinking about any other sort of superhero that could come or what they're doing. It was just, this world really they took me to that world, and I forgot all about these other 20 years of Marvel movies that we've had, and just really dived into this world, which I was really happy with.
Oh, yeah. It's good that I didn't have to watch 4 million friggin' films and TV shows to understand what was going on. Like, Thunderbolts is great, but it's just too much backstory and stuff to catch up on to really get the full benefit out of it. Whereas this film, anybody could watch this film with no knowledge of the MCU and come out of it enjoying it, I think, just as much. And yeah, if you like the Fantastic Four from the early 2000s, you're gonna love this. If you like the Fantastic Four with Miles Teller, then this is much better than that. So,
all right, guys, gonna give our scores.
Yep.
Man, how many Galactuses out of 10?
I guess 7.75 Galactus out of 10.
John?
I'm gonna give it 9 Galactuses out of 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it 9.5 Galactuses out of 10. All right, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, check out our socials, and we'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.